Good morning, dear students. For today's session, for English 101, New Language Leader Level 1, First Secondary, First Semester, Unit 6, Lesson number 3, Family Matters. Our objectives for today: by the end of the lesson, students will have discussed issues related to the family, read for gist and specific information, identified, understood, and practiced the language of expressing opinions, and written sentences to express opinions. Now, before we start our main objectives, let's think about these two questions. Do you think children should help with the housework? Do you agree that men should help with the housework? Think about these two questions and try to discuss them in the chat box. Okay, dear students, now we'll start with our first objective by reading this text. Read the following text about family matters. A family is recognized as a group of people who share DNA, love, respect, commitment, and the will to help one another within any situation. The importance of a family is to instruct children and give guidance about personal values and social behavior. Unfortunately, in today's world, countless problems complicate this meaning. Issues such as absent father figure, lack of communication, divorce, unequal distribution of chores, balance of work, and materialism are many of the reasons why families continue to fail. Sharing household chores is an important part of marriage for majority of married adults. Husbands need to share the housework as well as children. But among those who have children, there are notable differences in perceptions of who does more of the work around the house. Recent studies show that shared housework is a key to a successful marriage. In fact, each family is unique and will have their own solution when dividing house chores. Below are some tips that can help you divide chores and get started. Number 1, go for a team approach. Couples with children are the best at teamwork because each parent knows the big picture and the overall needs of the household. Make a list of regular chores and frequent activities that need to happen in the house. This might include cooking, cleaning, washing the car, etc. As a teenager, you should have your own cleaning responsibilities. For example, clean the table, do the dishes for the night, or take out the trash. These simple household chores will teach you how to be responsible and how to help each other. Number 2, take turns. Take turns each day or each week for certain household chores. This will teach you in the household how to do each chores, and it doesn't get so boring doing the same thing every time. Check who is responsible for a certain task and see if one family member is doing more than the others. Number 3, gender has nothing to do with chores. You will likely say that this task is just for girls and this task is just for boys. Everyone needs to learn something new or a variety of skills. You must know how to do these skills and how to be responsible and appreciate value of equality and fair work. Number 4, keep it fair. The goal of dividing each chore between family members is to be fair and to make it feel like you are being supported by the other family members. Make a list of the division of chores, give feedback, and talk about any unfair chore distribution. Number 5, make a chores roster. Have a to-do list that shows you your tasks. Schedule each task for each member and make them responsible for doing their chores. You can write it on a piece of paper, a chart, on a calendar, or on a whiteboard. Personally, I think sharing responsibility means being on the same team. Participating in family responsibilities help you develop essential social skills. The skills learned from having family responsibilities include time management, prioritizing tasks, and general organizational abilities. Now, let's look at these statements. Then we're going to decide whether they are true or false. We will read these sentences, then we'll go back to the text to read it carefully again and think about these statements. Number 1, it is not important for a family to instruct children and give guidance about personal values and social behavior. Number 2, recent studies show that it is not important to share housework, and this is not effective in a successful marriage. Number 3, couples with children are the best at teamwork because each parent knows the big picture and the overall needs of the household. Number 4, as a teenager, you needn't have your own cleaning responsibilities. Number 5, you must know different skills regardless of your gender and value equality and fair work. Now, we'll go back to the text of 2 slides. We'll have 3 minutes for each slide. Now, start looking at the first part of the task. You've got 3 minutes to read the first part of the text. Okay, dear students, before we go to the true and false sentences, let's appreciate these students. محمد هشام حسن أحمد، محمد محمود أنور خليفة، هاشم سيد هادي، تركي عبد الله يوسف، فيصل خالد عبد العزيز، حسن علي ميرزا عمران، سيد أحمد باقر, and Muhammad Ibrahim Musa Sarhan. Thank you for your participation. Now, we'll go back to the sentences and we'll give you 2 minutes to think about them and decide whether they are true or false. Okay, dear students, now let's check your answers. Number 1 is false. Number 2 is false. Number 3 is true. Number 4 is false. Number 5 is true. Now, look at these points. Read the text again and put the following points in the correct order as they appear in the previous text. We read these points, then we will go back to the text to decide the order of these ideas. Point A, the importance of sharing responsibilities. Point B, problems facing families. C, the definition of a family. D, the writer's point of view. And E, tips to divide household chores. You can make notes by writing these points down. So it will be easier for you to decide the correct order. Now we'll look back at the text again. You've got 2 minutes for these two slides. Now, dear students, look at these points again and try to put them in the correct order. Okay, dear students, let's check the answers. So the first point is C, the definition of a family. Number 2, problems facing families. 3, the importance of sharing responsibilities. 4, tips to divide household chores. And D is number 5, the writer's point of view. Now, when we were reading the text, we looked at some words in bold. These words are tips, fair, countless, chores, and variety. Look at these 5 meanings and try to match them with these words. You've got 3 minutes to think about them. Okay, dear students, now let's look at the correct answers. Number 1, too many to be counted or mentioned, countless. Number 2, advice, tips. Number 3, tasks you do regularly, chores. Number 4, treating people equally, fair. Number 5, several different sorts of the same thing, variety. Now, look at these words from the text also. Can you figure out the opposite of the following words? You've got 3 minutes to think about them. Okay, let's look at the answers. Number 1, adults. Number 2, successful. Number 3, boys. Number 4, unfair. And number 5, differences. Now, let's look at these questions. How do you express your point of view? And how do you accept an opinion, then disagree? Think about these questions. What do you use to express your opinion? Okay, expressing opinions. Can you find a sentence that express an opinion in Family Matters text? This is an example. Personally, I think sharing responsibility means being on the same team. To express your opinion, use I think. Example, I think children should tidy their rooms. To accept an opinion and then disagree, use well, that's a good point, but, or, well, I understand your point, but, or, well, that's an interesting idea, but. Example, well, I understand your opinion, but sometimes children are too busy with homework to tidy their own rooms. Now, let's look at this task. Write sentences to express your opinion about the following issues: TV and children, husbands and household chores, mobile phones. You've got less than 5 minutes to try to write 3 or 4 sentences about these issues. Okay, dear students, let's look at some possible answers. Number 1, I think parents shouldn't let children watch TV at all. Number 2, I think husbands should help clean the house. Number 3, I think mobile phones shouldn't be given to children. Now let's say thank you to excellent students Abdullah Mahdi, Hussein Ahmed Abdel Hassan, Saleh Ibrahim Saleh, Ali Fadil, باسل عبد الجليل، سجاد حسين، عجلان عيسى، رمزي مكي، ثامر ناجي، جاسم قيصر، خالد نواف، عمر وائل، مصطفى موسى، محمد عيسى، إبراهيم أمين، لطفي سعيد، ياسين أرشد، محمد هشام. Thank you very much all for your participation. Now let's look at our final task. Write sentences to accept the below opinions and then disagree. Okay, dear students, let's have at some examples. Number one, well, I understand your opinion, but I think children need to watch TV as there are many useful programs that children can learn from. Number two, well, what I think is that men are tired after a day of work. Number three, well, that's an interesting idea, but mobile phones can be given to children for limited hours. So, dear students, that is the end of our session today. Thank you very much for your attention. Don't forget to do the form and the questionnaire. See you next time, and Happy New Year.